What's up, YouTube? This is MathWas97, and welcome to episode number 25 of my SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 General Manager mode. We are here for the silver anniversary of the series, the 25th installment, and this is going to be a big episode. So as we can see, taking a look, a bit of a rundown of the match card as per usual. As we can see, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, is going to be going one-on-one with the high-flying Paul London. And then in the main event, Triple H defends the World Heavyweight Championship against Andre the Giant. Now, we saw the last time those two encountered, it was at the Great American Bash during the Triple Threat, which also included Bret Hart. But Andre, we got that morale issue again where people want title shots. Are they necessarily deserving of them? No, not necessarily. I mean, you gotta build them. You get your title shot, and then you kind of gotta take a little bit of time to build yourself back up before you can actually be a substantial contender. But, morale says otherwise. So we kind of gotta get people their shots. Although Andre, I feel like he's on the chopping block at the moment. Looking to perhaps strike a deal with Monday Night Raw, try to trade some people out, bring in some new blood to the roster. But not too sure where I'm going to be going with that just yet. So we'll wait and see where things go from here. But at the moment, we can see a battle of cruiserweights as Paul London takes on the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, a former cruiserweight champion here in the series. We know that Paul London has got his current rivalry with Rob Van Dam. And Paul London's been looking pretty impressive in the past several weeks. He's been picking up some victories, and at the very least, if he's not picking up victories, well then he's having very back and forth matches with his opponents. Perhaps even stealing the show. As Paul London, he's built himself up. He wants to get a shot at Christian's Cruiserweight Championship. And it's been a bit of a long road for Paul London. I mean, it's now, September? Paul London, he's been taking a little bit of time to build himself up, starting back in April when the series began. And I think it's almost time that Paul London gets that Cruiserweight Championship title opportunity. Of course, the current champ, Christian, defeating Rob Van Dam on 2 occasions to retain the gold. And then, of course, the Battle Royal, which he won. That was about, almost 2 months ago, would you think? Maybe? Maybe even further than that, because that might have been in, June. So more like 3 months ago, I guess would be more like it. I could be completely wrong, but it was sometime before the Great American Bash. I can't remember how long it was beforehand, but Christian, he's held on to that Cruiserweight title for a good while. Oh, wait a minute. Paul London here with a roll-up. The roll-up on Flair could have him here. 2 count. But no, Ric Flair with a kick out at the last second. Paul London, he's going to have to do more than that to put away one of the greatest of all time in this business. As Paul London now going to the top rope, looking to drop an elbow on the Nature Boy. And he didn't connect flush, but nonetheless, he did connect with that elbow. As now he goes on the offensive, taking the fight to Ric Flair. Ric Flair, of course, he wants to get back in the Cruiserweight title picture. As we can see here, Flair, double underhook suplex. Beautiful move from Flair, and taking a little bit of time to showboat. Oh, wait a minute, to take it all in, but Paul London could have just caught Flair off guard. This could be it. This could be it. No, another kick out. Near fall for Paul London on that roll-up. But he's still able to gain the upper hand there with that swinging neck breaker. And again, an elbow drop from the top rope. But that one connected right on the money. Right to the gut of Ric Flair. And now, a huge face buster from Paul London. Ric Flair, he just bounced face first off of the mat. But he's managing to get himself back into this thing. A nice Russian leg sweep there. And now look at this, vintage Flair marching around the ring and now just stomping on the ankle of Paul London. Ric Flair, of course, with his usual style, his usual flair, as it were. Oh, and now just really going to work on that leg, trying to soften Paul London up for the figure 4 leg lock. Flair's trademark submission move, and now another double underhook suplex, sending Paul London crashing to the mat. And now Flair with a couple of bare-knuckle shots right to the side of the head, right to the temple of Paul London. Oh, but Paul London, a nice counter. Look at this. He's got Flair. Hooked him for a nice backbreaker right there. And yeah, we've had this rivalry going on with Van Dam and London for, you know, a good while now. It's our longest ongoing rivalry at the moment. Although that's, I mean, the next pay-per-view isn't until October, which is No Mercy. And I don't feel like this rivalry, it's not exactly my plan to go all the way to No Mercy. I don't feel like it would last that long. But the whole point of this is to basically build Paul London up so that he can, well, one day challenge Christian for the Cruiserweight title. That's kind of what I'm hoping for as the potential matchup at No Mercy. If we can get Paul London against Christian for the Cruiserweight title, that would be cool. But we'll have to see if Paul London can actually win these matches. Because, I mean, if he loses match after... Oh, wait a minute, look at this. Backslide here from Flair. He could have knocked off London there, but no, that is not the case. Paul London, though, I can't just give him a title shot if he's undeserving. I mean, he's going to have to beat Flair tonight. And then he's still got a victory he needs to gain over Rob Van Dam. Huge elbow drop out to the floor from London. But as I was saying, London, he needs to pick up some big victories yet if he wants to have any hope of facing Christian for the Cruiserweight title. Like I said, he still needs to beat London, or he still needs to beat Van Dam. He needs to win this match with Flair. And, you know, we might even see a non-title match against Christian perhaps in the works. I mean, that's basically the way to start off these rivalries is to... Oh, what a huge enziguri kick to the back of the head. Oh, and Paul London, are we going to see it? Off the top, 450 splash connects. And that could be the end of Ric Flair. 2 count. Yes, it is. Paul London scores the win with that huge 450 splash. That was a sight to see, ladies and gentlemen. And Paul London, as I was saying, he needs to get those victories if he wants to move up into the #1 contender spot for the Cruiserweight title. If he wants to shake things up around here, he has to get the job done when it counts. He's got to walk the walk before he can talk the talk. And so far, so good for Paul London. But as I was saying, he does need to get a win over Van Dam, which is perhaps going to be the final showdown in this rivalry. Maybe next week, maybe 2 weeks from now. We'll see how things go. But, anywho, London, he's getting there. But we've got other things in the works at the moment. As we can see, the World Heavyweight Champion, Triple H. Of course, he's been the champion since day 1 of the series when we began the draft. He was crowned the first ever inaugural World Heavyweight Champion here in GM mode. And I'm trying something out here tonight. I wasn't too sure if this would work. I don't think it did. But I was trying to see if, you know, just having a superstar in the manager's role for a championship match might, you know, create some, if it was some sort of like perhaps glitch in the system where if you made them the manager, it might, you know, fix their morale, because it's like, hey, they were in the title match. I mean, they were listed for this matchup. Although I don't think that worked out. But hey, it was kind of being cheeky. Try to see if we could sneak one in there. Although I'm doubtful that it actually worked. So for those of you who are curious, maybe thought that would be a strategy here for GM mode, just, you know, try to fix some morale, have him manage the champion. No, that's not how that isn't going to work. Unfortunately, that would have been kind of cool, but, you know, it does make sense that would not work, because they're not really getting a title shot. True, they're in the match, but not really. I mean, they're just kind of the manager. So, props to THQ for, I guess, that. But anywho, as we can see right now, Andre the Giant, he has some morale issues, and, well, we got to keep Triple H looking strong as the dominant World Heavyweight Champion. So, I mean, from what we last remember, at the Bash, it was Andre the Giant who was pinned by the game, Triple H, and he was left laying in a pool of his own blood after a pedigree. And Triple H, well, you can see he's looking to perhaps try to reopen those scars of Andre the Giant as he drives the knee, and again, a knee right to the skull of Andre the Giant, as Triple H has really been targeting the head of Andre the Giant. Perhaps try to give him a concussion, wear him down for the pedigree. Try to, of course, bust him open just like back at the Bash. But Andre right now stomping away at the knee of Triple H. And Andre's moveset is quite interesting in this game. Like this, for example, where he decides to be technical for a bit and go after the leg of Triple H. That's definitely something that a big man, a giant Goliath like Andre the Giant would be doing. Yeah, I don't know. And of course, Triple H, because Andre is an ultra heavyweight, Triple H can't hit any of his moves because, you know, half of them are power moves. So Andre can just basically stand there and be like, what? That's about it. As we can see right now, Andre the Giant ducks behind. Oh, Triple H, he's in trouble here. Reverse atomic drop from Andre the Giant. Oh, but Triple H with a counter. Beautiful. Oh, and the ref, stupid auto-targeting. The referee, he needs to learn to keep his distance. Oh, what a nice spear from Triple H. And again, back to the skull of Andre. Perhaps trying to bust him open. I mean, that worked at the Bash. And oh, look at this. Triple H, he's going to capitalize with the downed referee that Triple H himself knocked out. As Andre now with a big boot to Triple H. Well, Triple H, he was unsuccessful in using that chair as the ref is back to his feet. Was that maybe record time for this ref? I'm not sure. He wasn't down as long as I was expecting. But nonetheless, he did make it back to his feet. Triple H, he's got to have a different strategy. Referee doesn't apparently see the chair, but as we all know, the referee's health plan, forget it. I was trying to sneak in a cheeky Jerry Lawler quote from the old games. That the referee's health plan does not include vision. I got it right that time. Of course, by this point, it's long since lost its luster. You know, when you fail to say something twice in a row, you really kind of ruin it. But Triple H takes Andre down with that huge clothesline. And speaking of legends, I've very shocking news that's very unsuspected. This has been a very difficult year for the wrestling world, as we've not only a couple months back we lost Dusty Rhodes, but now, unfortunately, Roddy Piper passed away recently. Don't know by the time this video is gonna be up. It might be, you know, not as fresh in everyone's mind. It might be like a week after or something. But that does really suck. That Roddy Piper is no longer with us. Rest in peace. But man, this year is just not good for the wrestling icons. I mean, Dusty Rhodes, he passed away. Now Roddy Piper passed away, and then we've got, of course, the whole Hulk Hogan issue. Whatever's up with that. It's just not good times for the wrestling industry. But we gotta fast forward a little bit in the matchup because Andre does not want to get buried. As, look at that, he kicks out of the first pedigree, then he just rope breaks it, tosses Triple H across the ring for the second, and the ref again gets in the way. Good grief. And now look at this, Triple H is gonna go for a third pedigree, and I think this could be the one to bust Andre open. And there it is, Andre the Giant is busted wide open. Triple H, he's looking to bury Andre's hopes and dreams of perhaps one day becoming the World Heavyweight Champion once again. If this darn referee doesn't disqualify somebody first, I mean, he just won't get out of the way. It's like this referee just wants to take a beat. Referee. We need a new referee. What is this? Oh my goodness, this referee is giving me a headache. Whether it's not disqualifying people when they should be disqualified, and then that getting people disqualified because he doesn't get out of the way. Does this referee, or do we have a Brad Maddox here? Does he want to be a professional wrestler? Whatever the case, he can't do his job right. But I don't even know. I don't know what to say anymore. But we've still got episodes and episodes to go with this referee, so we're going to have to we're gonna have to stick it through. I'm just gonna blame the ratings on this referee, this crooked referee. The fans don't like him, and it's dragging down the show. But there's nothing really we can do about it. So as you can see, Chavo's popularity is plummeting. Of course, that'll happen when you're the local jobber, your friendly neighborhood jobber. That's the role that Chavo has taken upon recently. And same with Carlito. So I'm like burping. Apologize, I just had dinner not a while back. But as we can see, these are the two guys I'm kind of unsure of. I'm not sure really what I'm gonna do with the British Bulldog and Andre the Giant. I mean, the Bulldog, he is in this rivalry, which I mean might go somewhere. I kind of want him to finish out that rivalry. We just got his morale back to normal. I don't really want to throw that down the drain just yet. But one huge landmark giant thing we get done this episode is we're gonna sign a contract. We're gonna assign Stone Cold Steve Austin to the SmackDown roster. Of course, the cover star of WWE 2K16. 10 years prior, he's in 06. He's gonna be the big guy on our SmackDown roster. The big guy before Ryback could even hope of being the big guy. And we're also, not only that, but I'm gonna kind of, try to test the waters here with a potential trade. I'm not gonna make a trade this episode, but what I'm thinking of doing is having Andre and Chavo try to trade those two out, since we have a high popularity and a low popularity, and then try to pick up two guys somewhere in the middle, like a Rey Mysterio and Chris Jericho, or I don't know, maybe. Really, these are the two guys I've kind of got my eyes on. I don't really see anyone else that kind of sticks out. But let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this episode of GM Mode. And until next time, thank you for watching, and keep on YouTubing.